Man, the studio is my home, man. Uh, I just I feel like the stage is where you kind of like come alive. The studio is just kind of. I mean, you studio too, but studio is definitely like where I feel most comfortable. Where I
Yeah,
feel like
absolutely,
the
man.
heart of, you know.
Watching you, EQ and watching you do all the behind the scenes stuff,
And
man.
that's another thing that makes people
That
stand out.
is, man. I think just watching that, it's motivating because
I motivate myself.
you're hearing what's coming out of the speakers as you're just moving the
A
tap,
little knob,
moving the
just one
release,
little notch. Yeah,
moving the thresholds, moving frequency, knowing where your frequency is at, man. It's like
things that a lot of rookies would ignore.
hey man,
They just leave it on whatever it's on and not knowing if you move that knob a little bit, you can get a tighter sound. You can get a, you know what I'm saying?
and that is your home. That is your home, and
Wasn't always though. I just knew it was a certain sound. I used to listen to like, remember when I had that USB mic that I bought from Target, and I used to hear my stuff, man. I'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
we all did that.
And then like right after that, I turn on the radio and Mary, like some top, you know what I'm saying, artist would play, and like my stuff went from sounding like what I thought was this to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how they get their vocals like that? How they? And that's what made me dig deeper. That's why I was like, nah, I ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
So I'm my biggest critic. You know what I'm saying? I'm my, like, if it doesn't sound the way that I'm trying to get it to sound, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tweak a knob. Like I'm gonna put a different. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna like it's something that has to be done.
Okay.
You know, so standing out in a crowd, I feel like if everybody is doing this, if everybody is driving Nissan Altimas, how do you stand out in a crowd? You pull up in a Benz.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that are rappers, musicians, and the label get 90%, 95%, you know what I'm saying, more or less of what the rapper is bringing in, what the artist is bringing in. And a lot of times it's because the label is doing 90% of the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And me, as a creative, I want to be able to do 90%, you know what I'm saying, of the work on my own, so that I can get 90% of the income. You know what I'm saying?
You're thinking long term.
Yeah, long term. I don't want to be a slave for somebody. I don't want to be making, 50,000 or 100,000, and the label is making millions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I totally understand that part.
So, I try to take pieces of the pie and, look at different things that a rapper needs, whether it be photography, merchandise, wardrobe, owning your own record label, you know what I'm saying, teaching courses, promotion, public exposure to the public, studio time, videos. I think you talked about podcasts and stuff like that. So all these different things that a rapper needs, I try to take these things and DIY, do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Try to figure out how to do it on my own. And so that's where I'm at with this. I ain't never worked a job, had a job that I worked where I just been like, man, this is my dream job. My thing is always like music, film. I mean, along with some other things, but music and film and things that just surround what I got into that. I wanted to really like dig deep into that because I felt like that was something I would need as a solid foundation to stand on as a rapper or producer.
Yeah.
And so that is one of my ways of standing out in a saturated market. You know what I'm saying? When everybody sounds the same, everybody's rapping on the same, $200 mic. Everybody's, using their phone to record or using some $300 camera. Like, everybody's using little cheap, $15, $20 lights. If that. May not even be using those kind of lights. But I just take notes from, Hollywood, take notes from the record labels, and I use that as my blueprint, as my foundation to try to build my own Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're ready to put in the work.
Yeah.
You're ready to put in the work. You made the investments into the equipment that you're talking about, and putting out high quality content.
Facts.
And I think that in the long run, that's gonna serve well. And that's the thing that we have to do now. Is like the big picture. You got to have goals, right? You got short-term, long-term goals. And, if we think of short-term goals, we could think of, it'd be easier for me to join a record label so, I could try to get up the ladder faster. But I think like you were saying, the 90% thing of what they're going to take from you, and you're getting, you as the artist, you're the one that's putting in the work.
The name, you're the big name.
Yeah, and it's like you're the one that's trying to, you're putting out the content, and yet you're not getting nothing back because of the behind the scenes work that's getting done. And once again, if y'all ain't seen the videos that he's posted, I'm sure you see it we'll post it on the link right here. Of videos that he's put out to try to talk about this investment part we're talking about, but. Standing out. So I think you asked me the question earlier, you standing outside in a long line of people.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Like, you ever seen the movie Juice?
I have.
With Tupac, and they was going to like audition or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really what I was thinking about when I said that. Like, you talking about a line of 1,000 people, 5,000 people who are walking into this building trying to get signed, trying to get a record deal because they just some locals, And Queen Latifah said, oh, you just local. You know what I'm saying? Like, she told him he was a local. He kind of like, felt some type of way, but that's what he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we...
So what are some things that you can do that you can feel like that will help you stand out, in a situation like that of, obviously just getting that word out, man, and people, just feeding off that and getting encouraged by it. What are the type of things that you can do to get that?
Everybody has their own perspective, just like you have a different perspective or a different way of standing out than I do. Like you've always been a stage dude, you know what I'm saying? That ain't really my area and arena. The studio has always been mine.
Sure, man. I got plenty of video. I got some old school footage, man, of you doing your verses and people, after you done with your verses, they are cheering for shouting. You, man. Yeah. So I don't know. You sure about that?
Yeah, but man, the studio is my home, man. I feel like the stage is where you kind of like come alive. The studio is just kind of, you studio too, but studio is definitely like where I feel most comfortable, where I feel like
absolutely, man.
the heart of You know,
watching you, EQ and watching you do all the behind the scenes stuff,
and
man.
that's another thing that makes people stand out.
Man, I think just watching that, it's motivating because
I motivate myself.
you're hearing what's coming out of them speakers as you're just moving the
A
tab,
little knob,
moving the release,
just one little notch. Yeah,
moving the thresholds, moving frequency, knowing where your frequency is at, man. It's like
things that a lot of rookies would ignore.
hey man,
They just leave it on whatever it's on and not knowing if you move that knob a little bit, you can get a tighter sound. You can get you know what I'm saying?
and that is your home. That is your home, and
Wasn't always though. I just knew it was a certain sound. I used to listen to remember when I had that USB mic that I bought from Target, and I used to hear my stuff, man. I'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
we all did that.
And then right after that, I turn on the radio and Mary, some top, you know what I'm saying, artist would play, and my stuff went from sounding like what I thought was this to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how they get their vocals like that? And that's what made me dig deeper. That's why I was like, nah, I ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
So I'm my biggest critic. You know what I'm saying? I'm my, if it doesn't sound the way that I'm trying to get it to sound, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tweak a knob. I'm going to put a different, you know what I'm saying? It's something that has to be done.
Okay.
You know, so standing out in a crowd, I feel like if everybody is doing this, if everybody is driving Nissan Altimas, how do you stand out in the crowd? You pull up in a Benz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If everybody's driving silver cars, how do you stand out? You pull up in a red one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. I don't want the same fingerprint as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You talked about it. You talked about, what did you say on here? You said something about rapping about. You said you're not gonna rap about cars and money
Material stuff, all this.
just because everybody else does it.
And it sounds cool, right? It sounds cool. Everyone wants to hear about
Everybody
flashy,
killing and
you know what I'm saying?
drugs and
Yeah, that's not. I mean, you gotta have a purpose. You know, gotta have a purpose on what you want to talk about.
but you gotta be true to who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what you was getting at.
Yeah, you gotta be able to look in the mirror and know who you are, man. And you know,
Gotta be able to look in that camera too.
yeah,
Gotta be able to talk into that mic. You know what I'm saying?
Confidence.
It's hard to be a faker.
So, yeah, man, like rapping about, stuff that really doesn't. I mean, what is rapping about, material stuff gonna do for me in the end? I like to.
And then also leading people down a false narrative, all these people that rap about money and cars, and
Like that's the most important thing.
half of them ain't even got that. Half of them rapping about, and then you know what I'm saying? Like you sending people thinking that, cause I was misled like that. You know what I'm saying? Thinking
We all was.
Oh man, this is the way to, you know what I'm saying, fit in, or this is the way to, you know what I'm saying, and try to follow what the music is telling you, and that ain't the way. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it ain't.
So why would I rap about that?
We're not.
You don't stand out by rapping about what everybody else rap about.
We're not trying to fit in.
Exactly.
We're not trying to fit in, man. Be different, be genuine, be authentic.
Hey, if that's what y'all want to rap about, y'all rap about that, because if that's who y'all are, hey, do your thing. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want money. I want cars. I want, a woman or two. You know what I'm saying? But, until I find my wife. But it's as far as dating, that's what I mean, like a woman or two,
Yeah.
But, all that stuff can be, tempting.
Yeah.
But, what's the end result?
Yeah. So, what's your take on, your album, cover art type thing, How would you stand out on that?
Album cover art, I don't know. That's difficult. All I know is no matter what it is, I'm gonna give it to you in the highest quality. So Now I do know some things that I learned as far as because now I'm into videography and stuff like that. There are certain, and what most people do is that what we learned in school in our courses was there are certain colors that go with each other, that complement each other. So on DaVinci, they have, and in some cameras, I can't remember what it's called, but they have a tool. Your camera might have it. A lot of cinema cameras have it, but they have. That's why you see a lot of people using the greens and blues. I mean, not the greens and blues, the teal and what is that other color they use? Like an orange and teal. You see that in a lot of light. They use like an orange and teal light, or because if you look at the color wheel, there's a tool that most cameras and programs have that can show you what color. So if you, let's say you have a favorite color, like this is your favorite color. Mm-hmm. There's a color that will show up on the opposite side of that.
Okay.
So looking at that color wheel, whatever that thing is, if you put this color on there, there's gonna be a color that's gonna be the opposite of that. Those two colors are gonna go together. Mm. So whenever you're making album covers or videos or whatever it is, you want to have colors that complement each other, and that's going to grab people's eye attention. So, but even before that, so that's one aspect of it, but even before that, I'm killing with quality. Okay. That's my way of standing out. Another thing that we learned about standing out is lighting. Mm. Lighting is one of the biggest things, like in Hollywood and films, that makes them stand out. Okay. So there's that. There is top of the line microphones. Hollywood uses $4,000, $8,000 microphones for a particular reason. Okay. They're not just doing just to blow money. They're actually on a budget. So if they could spend $200 on the best microphone in the world, they wouldn't spend $4,000 on just to blow money. Yeah. They actually, every record label's on a budget for each artist. So, yeah, that's and then the other way of standing out is just what camera you buy, what lens you buy, how you edit the footage, how you what way you record the footage in and all that. So that's what I'm on. I'm one of those scientific nerds, and I want to know what's the best wire to use on the microphone. What's the best, you know what I'm saying? What's the best preamp to use? What's the best, you know? So that's where I'm at with it. That's how.
With you, also, I've learned you love your manuals. Yeah. You love your manuals, and you've always would tell me, hey man, you gotta read the manual. Yeah, you gotta learn your equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you, like, for example, his camera versus my camera, or his phone versus my phone, I might know how to work mine, but I don't know how to work his. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we all need to know which setting, because we could be one setting off from the highest quality. Yeah. Because we were just like, oh, I'm gonna just put in that setting because I think that's where it go. And then it's like, nah, you don't use that setting because it makes it harder in the editing room. That footage is harder to edit with, or because that setting adds weird things to the shadows. You only use that setting for dark or light, or, you know what I'm saying? So
doing your research will definitely help you stand out.
Doing your research, And when I find what settings work, I stick to those. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might be a few settings that I might change here and there, but I know, okay, these 3 settings and these 2 settings are the only ones I need to keep it on.
Okay. And so definitely practicing and working on your craft.
Mm-hmm. Makes you stand out.
Definitely will make you stand out. Mm-hmm. Having feelings and emotions in your songs.
Right. I feel like telling a story. Not just, like you said before, not just doing a song just to do a song. You know, doing a song because there's a meaning behind it. Doing a song because you was going through something. Doing a song. I feel like those songs mean more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you listen on the radio. Sometimes you're at the gas station pumping gas. You're hearing songs playing from 20, 30 years ago. They still hits. Yeah. Why? Because they was on these high quality microphones. The song had meaning. You know what I'm saying? They look at Tupac. Tupac wasn't great because he rapped on an $8,000 microphone, but he also had meaning. It's a lot of rappers on these high quality microphones not saying nothing.
You know, one of the first songs from Tupac that I felt like when I was growing up that kind of had that meaning feel was "Dear Mama," and you know, you could just tell that, you know, where he was coming from. Like there was, you know, nothing else he was thinking about. You know, whatever was going on during them times, or
Yeah, that song was deep.
you know what I mean. And so I think having you know, like you were saying, putting your fingerprint on it, like being transparent about whatever your emotion
Who
you're
you
feeling.
are.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
That's the thing. Tupac wasn't a copycat. He wasn't going around saying what everybody else was saying. He was speaking what was inside of him.
yeah,
And his mother was a activist. His mother had gave him stuff about black history and things that go along with like police brutality and like just things that go on in the world, poverty, and you know, these were the things that he grew up in, the things that she had taught him. So when he grew up, he not only talked about the streets and, you know, women, but he talked about what his mom instilled in him.
exactly.
And that is what made him different than everybody else. Everybody else rapping about cars and women and money, and we heard that a million times. Tupac might have rapped about that here and there
Yeah,
because he was part of that life, but he also rapped about something that nobody else really.
man, there's something about making songs when it comes to like a loved one. You say your mom in general. Like when you make songs like that, I think you kind of always know it's gonna be deep. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be personal, and it's gonna be, you're gonna feel that emotion of that. Taking time to finish songs and not rushing. How you feel about that?
Facts. Timbaland talked about he had started a beat. I think we talked about this one time. He had started a beat, and he started the beat and left it on his computer.
Yeah.
He was like, man, it's missing something, but I don't know what it's missing.
Right. Okay.
And he left it there and went to the next stop, started working on some more stuff. I think he said like 5 years later or 8 years later, he had Aaliyah in the studio and was going through some old tracks.
She ended up hearing it
and pulled it up, and she boom.
Yeah.
And it became
so if you looked on your computer right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old do you think? What's the oldest file you think you got on there of a beat that's probably haven't even opened up in years? Like I was just doing earlier. Like I was opening up files that I haven't opened since 2018, 2000.
Man, it's a lot of those, bro. Ever since I started recording, what was that, 2008, 2009,
Yeah. Oh, you got some? Yeah, I got some. You know.
I mean, I don't have any, but if I still had my original computer, yeah, definitely it would be probably 50 to 100, 150 songs, you know, that just sitting there.
So definitely
They was started, but just an idea.
So are they songs that you could come back to, or do you feel like
now, with what I know now, man, I can take so many songs and be like, man, now I know how to fix that song. Now I know how to. It's just, do I have the time? Do I even care to go back and revisit that old song?
Yeah.
I'm like, we got $1 million microphones, you know what I'm saying? $1 million equipment. Like, I really ain't trying to go backwards, but hopefully that day does come. Cause I was riding the car last night.
Yeah.
And I heard some tracks with me and you on it. I'm like, man, like I need to drop this.
What's it? Yeah, hey.
You know what I'm saying? He already recorded.
Y'all heard that, right?
He already recorded his. He already recorded his verse. I already recorded my verses. It's just the editing. You know what I'm saying? The mixing. I ran into a problem with the mixing.
Yeah.
Now I can open up that session and be like, man, now I know why the vocals sounded harsh right there. Now I know I shouldn't have went up on the on the 2K and the 4K. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to make it sound better. You don't really want to raise 2K and 4K unless you just have to.
Yeah. See.
You can, but you're gonna run into some issues.
Okay, so when you make songs, what is your take on just how it will affect the listener as they're listening to it? Like, what are you trying to What is one of your goals in standing out when it comes to how will it affect, someone that's
Man, I don't want to mislead nobody. You know what I'm saying? That alone stands out because everybody, a lot of people don't care about who they mislead. They all about the money, and that's fine. I understand. If I was signed to a record label, it's about the money because I'm working. I'm a slave to somebody else, so I can't say, "Oh, y'all rappers shouldn't be doing this or y'all shouldn't be doing that," because I don't know what I would be doing in that situation. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. The business has to run. So, what was the question again? If it was
how
me,
how it will affect, like, what is your goal about how you want your songs to affect others? Like, what is your goal on that?
I don't want to mislead anybody because I may have my days where I'm doing wrong or stumbling, but I don't want to be a stumbling block to somebody else because you know what I'm saying, like it's consequences with that. You know what I'm saying? All these rappers out here, you know what I'm saying, all these not just rappers, but it ain't just rappers, it's people that's over the rappers, it's the big CEOs, the big businesses that are misleading people and just chasing money. There's consequences that come with that in the end. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people don't make it to the end. Sometimes we deal with our consequences when we, you know what I'm saying, up front. So, I ain't trying to partake in none of that.
So all money ain't good money.
Definitely not, man. I'll turn down a record deal in a minute.
Yeah. Standing out also, we have a lot of tools that, we didn't have growing up. And social media is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to social media, what is ways that you can use social media to help you be able to stand out, and just get your music out there?
Not just social media, but any type of because social media is nothing but getting your music out or getting you as an artist or it ain't just got to be artists. Whatever business you have, whatever you're trying to get you know what I'm saying, you're just trying to get that out to the public. So social media is just a way, something that has been going on before social media is just in a digital form now. Mm-hmm. So, back in the day, how you used to do where you would get the banners made or whatever, mm-hmm. and you sticking them out there in the gas stations and on the street corners and you know what I'm saying, W4G down come to the website and
free downloads.
Yeah, and that was a way of getting our name out there and having us bringing attention, you know what I'm saying, to whatever we have going on. It's the same thing with social media. The only thing with social media now is like whatever platform you're on, you have to fight with their algorithm. You know what I'm saying? If you put yourself on a corner, the only algorithm you're fighting is, whoever sees it and whoever
drives
don't.
by, try to put it on a corner where you're gonna get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
What is another way of public exposure that would help, get your music out there or stand out? What are other ways? Because I think we talked about before, handing out CDs was one of the things.
Yeah. Like I know you used to do flyers, running
cards.
Yeah, you did all that. You was big on that, bro. And I always thought, like this dude wasting money. Like this dude, man, don't nobody care.
Oh, they were loving my business, bro.
We was getting them now.
Shirts, you know what I'm saying?
You was shirts. I feel like that's still effective. Like, and that's one thing I'm gonna get back into is the shirts and stuff like that. But I just wanna rock my own brand. Mm-hmm. And if people like it, they be like, hey man, who is this?
Yeah.
If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like that's a way of me advertising without begging you.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So I can advertise, and if you like it, you gonna be like, hey man, who is that?
Yeah.
If you don't, you gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
So I don't have to. Yeah.
There's nothing really for you to have to selling or anything like that.
It's not forced. I don't like forcing myself upon people. I like reaching the people who want to reach me.
Organically.
Yeah.
Organically. What are ways with when it comes to just, I know we just kind of talked about it, social media, a little promotion, but just connecting with the fan base in public, like how important is that for you?
I'm really not a camera dude. I'm really not a stage dude. You know, I really keep to myself and stuff. But when I understood, you know, building, if this is something that you're trying to make money off of, make a living off of, anything, any type of business you do, that starts with getting exposure and getting your name out there.
When it comes to connecting with the fan base, what are ways that you can, you know, connect with, you know, with them? You know, what are ways that, you know, you feel like it's gonna be productive?
Yeah, one of the things we learned was like podcasting. You know, podcasting is a good way for people to see behind the scenes and really get in tune with you as
on
a
a
person.
personal level.
Right, not just the artist. Because on a record, you can only say so much. On a record, you're so focused on trying to rhyme or make something. You're trying to give off this perfect product, you know, or this. You're trying to make it's art. You know, you're trying to show people your art. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want people to just know you for your art.
Yeah.
You want people to know you for your art, but also be able to connect with you on a real level. Like, look, I'm a real human being. Lecrae, for example. Lecrae put out so many songs. And he ended up being this big time Christian hip hop rapper. And when certain things started going on, you know, in the black community and stuff like that, and he wanted to talk about, hey, you know, racism or, you know, certain things. His fan base knew him based off his music.
Okay.
They didn't want to hear him talk about
Other stuff that had it going on. Yeah.
Bro, just shut up and just make another song, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to, from the beginning, get a connection with your fans, you know, so that they know who you are from the jump. That way, when you decide to talk about something else or switch up later on, you know, they're not saying like, who is this guy? What is he talking about? Because they'll start on following you. They'll be like, man, that's not what we signed up for. We followed you because, like, Peter, I don't know if you know Peter McKinnon on YouTube. He's a well-known YouTuber that he started out, I think, teaching people how to do things with cameras, like how to film and how to edit and stuff like that. And as he got older and became like really successful on YouTube, he still talks about that stuff, but he talks about real life also.
Okay.
Some people, when he started talking about like real life and other things, the storytelling, like they didn't want to hear that. Because in the beginning, he wasn't talking about that. He was just showing people how to do X, Y, Z, and that's what they signed up for. When I met Peter McKinnon, he was already doing the storytelling and the, you know, but even if I had met Peter McKinnon in the beginning and then he transformed to the storytelling and still, like, I would still rock with him.
Yeah.
Because I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I like to be able to relate to real life stuff.
Relatable. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's you know what's funny is that in the beginning I wasn't really my mindset wasn't really trying to get into, you know, doing podcasts or talking or anything like that. But I came to realize that it does mean something. It does mean something because not only am I able to you know, relate to people, but also you get to encourage them in ways like you said that on a 2.5-3 minute song, there's only so much I could say.
Right.
And my nephew told me that, you know, that I should start doing like little snippets and things of like just in the studio working. But see, I'm so like behind closed doors, man, that, you know, I was like, well, we'll see. So I'm gonna have to start doing a little bit of that type of stuff. But don't be, I've learned, bro, I'm not afraid to fail. I think that's one way that helps me be able to put my music out. Is I'm not afraid to fail. That's not gonna stop me from continuing to move forward and continuing to try to put out great quality. You know, I'm gonna fail. You know, putting out songs. You know, people always gonna critique it. Oh man, you need to, you know, turn up your vocals a little bit, or you need to this and that. And I mean, I appreciate the constructive criticism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not the problem. But if I'm always think about that, I think that's gonna stop me from even, you know, giving the effort and try. So I'm one of those trial and error type person. You know, that's the only way I'm gonna learn. But you know, you might learn differently, you know, and whatever it is, you know, you just gotta find what it is when it comes to doing music, and just go all out and give, you know, your best effort. And you got to want to put in the work. Can't be afraid to put in the work.
Yeah. That's one of the big ones right there.
Can't be afraid to put in the work.
If you want to stand out in the crowd, if you want to, you know, like, what does it want to be assigned to a label? You know what I'm saying? If you want to stand out, like, you know, like Neo, for example, talked about how he had got signed. I think this is way back when he was young, maybe his first record deal or something. He got signed, and when he got signed, he got signed, but they were controlling how he could sing. Like, yeah, we don't want you to sing like they want you to do it like this. And so he couldn't be himself. He couldn't be authentic. He couldn't be genuine. So he did it for a while, I think, but then after a while, he became himself. Look like T-Pain, for example. There was so many people that told T-Pain to stop using the auto-tune. But he tried that, and it kind of like killed his career in a way.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
Yeah.
Using the auto-tune, and he sounded exactly the way that he did back then.
Yeah.
A lot of these old school artists are coming back, and man, T-Pain is one of those greats that, you know, he just needed. Yeah. He knows what's up here, and he knows how to be authentic to who he is.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. That's where the confidence comes from. You know what I'm saying? The confidence comes from, like, my confidence comes from in the studio. My confidence comes from, I know I got that on the right setting. I know I'm at the highest quality. I know I'm on a full frame sensor. I know I'm using a $3,000 lens. I know I'm using, like, my confidence comes from, I know I have the right lighting. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know all these different, my confidence comes from the knowledge, the wisdom. If you look at Tupac had wisdom. That's why when Tupac turned on the microphone, he had this confidence because he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And people listen. People listen when he talk. That's a good one. That's a great point. You know, the learning, the knowledge, putting the time in, investing to understand what, like we were saying earlier, the pieces of equipment that you're using or what you need to put out the high quality. You know, the time, you know, that's a big one, right? Time, just how have you been able to manage your time to be able to do everything you need to do and everything that we're talking about? How has your time management been for that? Because I'm sure that's a big thing.
I'm horrible with organizing and time management and stuff like that. I'm one of the worst. I feel like women are better than that, better at that. But I know that is a vital part. One of the girls I was talking to that I was trying to bring on the podcast, and she's an artist. She's a Christian artist too, out of Houston. And she talked about having a schedule. She's a teacher. She talked about having a schedule, and that she's so right about that. And I'm not good with that. I'm more of, even if I make a schedule, I can't follow it. You know, now if I owned my own business and I didn't work a regular 9 to 5 slaving for somebody else, I could be like, yeah, I'll make that time for you, but I want to be able to do those things. That's why I want the freedom to be able to make my own schedule every day. Wake up and, oh, we finna go to the Bahamas today, or
Yeah.
we finna go to the Bahamas and record, or we finna shoot. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wake up and go to a 9 to 5 every day. But a schedule is so vital, man. But I'm more of those type of people that I kind of just go with the flow.
Okay.
Like, I wake up and whatever God put on my heart, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Dom, I'm feeling like recording a song today, bro. You free?
Yeah.
So, like, if God put something on my heart, like, that's just where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? But schedules are very, very important. But also, what you're feeling at a particular moment is important too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's some times that I'm sure anyone
You might have a schedule, but you might be feeling down.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm sure a lot of artists out there that does music. I'm sure we all can relate.
And I feel like that's a lot of times where we end up with a lot of trash music too, because the record label's like, look, we got this deadline. You still missing 5 songs for the album.
Yeah.
And they just go in there and just record whatever.
Yeah. And see, with those people that are on record labels, since that is their job, they have nothing else to think about. Yeah, they might have families, but that's
They probably can't even be around it.
Yeah, this is how they're providing for their families, so they ain't got nothing else to worry about. But if you are doing music part-time like myself, I'm doing it part-time, but I also have a full-time job, so it's trying to make the time for it. And and I know we talked about this before, but for me, like, the AI helps. AI plugins help me. It helps me with my workflow.
It helps you stand out too.
It helps me with workflow. So, like I said, don't feel ashamed. You know what I'm saying?
Don't feel ashamed about using
because
presets.
This
and
brother
stuff.
right here, he has put years and years and years of research and learning and studying. I mean, I would hear him all the time. He would call me, man, guess what I learned? This and that. And he would tell me, and it's not that I'm not listening, because I'm trying to understand and process everything he's saying.
I'm speaking Spanish too.
Yeah, he's speaking a whole different language, but that just lets me know that, all that time he was put in. So not everyone can do that, or not everyone has the resources to do that. So, my advice is, if you need to use plugins, hey man, do what you need to do. The presets, whether it's Isotope, Unison, those are just a couple to name. But
And one of the things that makes you stand out, I know he want to talk about this.
Yeah, Chaotica, man. A noise reduction to help kind of give a portable studio quality vibe.
Cleaner room sound.
Yeah, clean with no echo. I got this for the WA-8000, so like I said,
Sony C800G clone.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you
$10,000 microphone.
You gotta be able to see what you need. What can I do? What can I afford? You gotta look at everything. You can't just
work your way up. We started from the bottom.
Man.
We didn't have all this stuff.
Man.
We still don't got a lot of stuff that we want.
Man.
But we still making progress, and we made a lot of progress, and now we trying to help y'all. Now we trying to help y'all stand out.
Just, you gotta be encouraged, man. You gotta be encouraged. It's always gonna be a roadblock. Whether it's financial, time, motivation, just a learning block of trying to understand things. I mean, I've had that plenty of times, and but just continue to, man, keep pushing, man, keep pushing, and I guarantee you, you're gonna start seeing results, and you're gonna be glad that you did, put in that time and work. So, from Workers for God Studios, man, hey, we want to encourage y'all, keep your faith in the Lord, and we're gonna continue to, uplift each other, and we're gonna keep pushing for each other.
Yeah, I mean, we got $50,000 to $100,000 worth of equipment, but that all started with a $30 microphone, $30 piece of equipment. It all started with putting the mic through the tube,
Yeah.
You know, through the cylinder tube. Like it all started with
did.
DIY. Do
did.
it yourself. It
Hey,
all
man.
started with, man, look, there go a microphone over there that I found on the side of the road by the dumpster. There go a little thing of making to a mic stand. Like, that's how it started.
We didn't give no excuses. We didn't give no excuses. We said, you know what? This is what we gonna do. This is what I'm gonna get. Like, I don't know if y'all seen the videos before, but hey, Goodwill computer. That's how it started out for us, man. You know, a Goodwill computer.
If you look on our page years ago, I mean, if you just look at how we started versus where we are now, y'all can see the progress. And that leap, we're gonna make that leap again.
It wasn't just overnight. It wasn't just because we wanted it in our minds. It was actually doing the research, putting in overtime at work so we can invest in ourselves.
And that's another thing to stand out is like you say, putting in the work. Like, you know, I got one thing that I'm bad about is I'll start songs and I won't release them. Which there's pros and cons to it because you don't want to drop trash.
Okay.
You don't want to drop something that's unfinished.
Yeah.
But if 5 years from now that song never comes out and your hard drive catches on fire or something, nobody ever hear that song.
One thing I've learned though, bro, is that, you know, what we may think that's not good or that's whatever trash. What do they always say, man? Our trash is another person's treasure.
Listen to stuff on the radio. Half the stuff on the radio, and like they got good quality,
Yeah.
but they really don't have the talent.
Like when you listen to it, it's like
The talent is behind the mix engineer and the producer and the person who made the beat. They don't want the talent. You can be anybody and blow up.
yeah. I've
But I'm trying to do more than that. We
Yeah.
trying to do more than that. We trying to stand out above.
yeah. And it starts from right now. It starts today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like putting in work every day, putting in that time. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. That is
We gonna help y'all get
you
there.
know something that we definitely encourage y'all to do, that anyone could do, and with the Lord's help, ain't nothing gonna stop it, man. Ain't nothing gonna stop it. So as we wrap this up, anything else to close it out, man? Final words.
W4G.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, man.